ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 60 of Beyond Retro. I'm Nathan Kennedy, joined as always by Joe Amato. Tyler Baker will be joining us soon enough. I'm sure he'll scare the shit out of us. So that'll be interesting because usually when we get set up, he's there and then he plugs in his earbuds and then he puts them on and the mic just rubs everywhere. So I'm waiting for the jump scare. It's going to happen any minute now, any second. I can feel it.
Yeah, like I said, he's hungry. He's done it a couple times where he might have been chewing while we were doing something live, or with that wrapper with that gigantic cookie or whatever the hell it was. But hell, that ain't no big deal. But no, yeah, we have something we'll talk about today. You know, I just had to mention one thing. It just shows how we always say people just don't listen or don't pay attention. And yesterday, you know, we did our podcast for the Netflix Shira when we did that for Fans of Power. And we talked about it, and at the beginning we said, yeah, we're not here to insult fans, you know, like we respect opinions, blah, blah, blah. And then we got some comments, not from the chat room, but from the actual comments on the video. And there was one guy, you know, like a couple people say, hey, yeah, good job. I see what you mean. See where you come from. Then this one guy pops up, Phil Dog. And he says, at Joe Amato, he said, see, if you'd even watch half the show, you'd know that Horsey's name changes to Swiftwind after you decided Horsey was a dumb name. And he says, you never watched the show. You're just looking for shit to complain about. You never gave the show a chance because you don't want it to be good. You lie about it because you don't want other people to like it either.
Yep, but that was the funny thing. You're like, here's the timestamp on this video when I said this.
Exactly. I put a timestamp and, of course, silence. Let's see if he even responds. Like, can people? It makes me think. Did he watch the video? Did he pay attention? It's like people.
You know, I'm sure some people would probably tune into that, watch us for about 10 minutes, be like, all right, they didn't like it. I don't like that, and then cut it off.
Because you're right, I timestamped them. I said, yeah, why don't you check right here at 35 minutes and 20 seconds, and you'll hear that I mentioned about, yes, I know that Horsey became Swiftwind. I said, I was just upset. It wasn't Spirit. I was like, people don't pay attention. And then it's funny. I talked about how we try to be cool and the fandom should be calm with each other. And sure shit, somebody jumps right in, is yelling at me and saying.
Well, it's just one person so far. Well, it'll be interesting to see what that video does, like the legs that it has, the comments it's going to get.
Yeah, like if people actually, like you said, pay attention to what we said. Because we said we respect anybody's opinions, whether you love or hate something. We've said this, and we talked about let's be cool with each other back and forth in the community. And we get, it cracks me up. It's like you wonder how many people even pay attention. So he did what we talked about. I said, that's why I wanted to do the entire season, because I didn't want people to say, you didn't watch nothing? And I was like, and then he did the same thing.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, that pretty much proves why you needed to do what you did.
Yeah.
Or what we did, because I watched the whole thing too. Ugh.
Right. It's like you got to watch it all, just like you had to watch all the podcasts. But yeah, so I just had to let that out there, say that real quick, and also say hello to Yanish and Jake Juggalo, who both just popped up. And Jake said peekaboo. So peekaboo to you too, Jake. But no, and you were showing a cool T-shirt before we start talking about Roger Rabbit. You guys show everybody where you got it.
Yeah, I was gonna wait for Tyler to get here so I could just show that off more. But it's Bloodsport. It's Target exclusive. Funko's doing some really cool shit, but the thing is the packaging that this thing came in.
Oh, it came in the no way.
Yeah.
Wait a second. And how much did you say that was?
$10.
No, I'm almost speechless because.
Yeah, there's the back of it too. This sticker right here was actually on the front of it, but I just peeled it off because I just wanted Van Damme and all his glory right there. But yeah. Yeah, $10.
A T-shirt. Sometimes they have $15, $20 T-shirts, and you wait for a shirt just to be on sale. But this is coming with packaging too. Yeah. I can't even believe that. They have any other
Target
things
exclusive right there. The other ones that they had in this, RoboCop, Back to the Future, and Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Back to the Future. Oh my God! Now I gotta look for things. I don't have the money for all of them. I'm gonna have to pick and choose on one. Oh my God!
But it's like, RoboCop. Yes, Back to the Future, yeah, Fast Times, all those were like super, super, super. But it's just like Bloodsport. I'm like, all right, yeah, it's nice to see that.
How they aged it and they made it look like an old kind of packaging. I love that.
I'll kind of hold it up a little bit closer there so you can see how it's just like torn up and everything. It is kind of funny though that it's just like, obviously Bloodsport would not need to be on 2 VHS tapes like this. They reserved that for like Godfather and Titanic and shit like that. But no. It's just
a way of fitting it. I guess they had to fit it in something.
Yeah.
So it's made a double. I like it. Hey, somebody could be an obsessed fan and just had 2 copies of Bloodsport. I guess, right? Had a box set with two copies. Makes absolutely no sense, but it's there. So
yeah.
that's
So
cool,
I
man.
guess when Tyler pops in, I'll show that to him as well, and kind of just be like, haha, look at this. You don't wear t-shirts anymore.
Oh yeah, well, it's possible they could do a tank top version of that. Possibly. I wish I could move this camera in a slight different way because I noticed that I'm really yellow. Of course, a lot of people say that anyway. Boy, you yellow, Joe. You ain't nothing but a coward. But if I could just get it, there ain't no way to do it.
Here we go. If you guys are familiar on Fans of Power, I'm sure we're about to get out. Fuck, shit, and then everything's just gonna crash.
I think it'll be fine. I think it's gonna stay. I'm trying to lean back a little bit just to see if it takes some of the yellow off. And I watched myself. I didn't look too jerky and jumpy, even though I was talking with my hands the other day. It seemed like it didn't freeze up too much. So, oh wait, but now my computer is showing up the bottom part of it. So let me see. Look at that. I can't win no matter what I do. What? So hey, how about we get and discuss about Roger Rabbit? Tyler will be popping up here in a second or whatever.
Oh yeah, hopefully a second. Well, we will see. Because I sent that a while ago. But yeah, Roger Rabbit, man, I have not watched this film in a good 20 years. So I popped that bastard in last night. And I was, honestly, I was excited to revisit it, but I was a little apprehensive because I'm like, well, what if Roger Rabbit's just really, really annoying? Oh, there he is.
Yes.
Perfect timing. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I just got home from seeing family, which gave me like 5 minutes to eat something, and I hadn't eaten anything since I left the gym other than like 2 small protein bars. So I was like, I had to eat.
All right, well, before we jump into Roger Rabbit, Tyler, I want to show this off to you.
Oh, man.
Target exclusive. Funko put these out, but it also comes in the VHS like little box. $10. $10. Yeah, I was telling Joe as well, and these guys here live, they had Back to the Future, RoboCop, and Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and I'm like, all right, yeah, super popular films. It's like, all right, nice to see Bloodsport getting some love.
Hell yes.
You believe it? $10.
$10.
Is it soft?
Yeah, it's the only thing is just like with the collar, you can see the stitching, but yeah, it's a soft shirt. 100% cotton. It shrank up pretty good.
That's the part that sucks. I hate cotton shirts.
Yeah, but it's soft. It's not like the rough, like shitty cotton. Feels good to me. I like it. And it looks good.
I want to feel that shirt.
That's weird. No,
I have to have soft material. I can't stand the thick ass cotton stuff. But I might just have to buy it just for the novelty of having the VHS box.
I was just gonna sit it on the shelf with my other VHSs.
That's worth.
It's cool.
That's worth paying $10. So.
Badass.
I can just picture now the start of Fans of Power tonight. We'll start off. Nathan's going to be host. Like starting off the show with welcome, or if he would have been there, and then you'd see suddenly Tyler would come into the screen. He'd be at Nathan's house just rubbing his shirt. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, it is soft, Nathan. It is.
Oh yeah, I think it's soft. Like I have like thinner shirts, of course, but no, this is soft. It's fine.
I'm just spoiled by like the half like polyester, half cotton shirts where it breathes. Like what I'm wearing here, this is really soft, thin material. Like it's so comfortable. And
I mean, does that not breathe enough?
I'm obviously yes, this does, but I've got tanks that are thicker material as well that are very comfortable. But
yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
Wear a t-shirt, though.
You're thinking like it's those Gildan brand, like those just like shitty, like they're wide and they just feel really bad. Like no, this doesn't have a tag in it, and it's soft to me.
Okay, all right.
Go waste your money, blow all your money.
Yeah, I might have to do that because
I can't get comfortable in this chair today.
Is it because of the shirt?
Yeah, no, it's not.
That's still just a surprising price to me because
Funko doing it, man. You just kind of feel like, okay, all right. It makes you kind of feel like us as fans, like, why should we settle for anything else? Like, Funko clearly gets what. I mean, that's a fun novelty. Releasing,
they get everything, even to put it in that box set. Yeah, it's like
I mean, that's how you. I mean, it just puts anything else to shame. Like.
You almost want to contact them about He-Man. You almost want to say, you remember Earl?
Yes, like,
you remember William George?
Yes. Can you guys do Icer or Lizard Man in vintage style or something like that?
And they come in a cool case like that, like a wrecked up old Masters of the Universe box set, like it looked like VHS.
Like a VHS of a Song of Solace that Lizard Man comes in or something like that. And it's just like, okay, I've officially jumped ship to Funko, where I just like, I'll support whatever they throw out.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck. They like,
and they got RoboCop in that too. You said?
Yep. They got yeah, and I don't know. I might go back and get the RoboCop one too. I don't know.
Awesome.
We'll see.
Going to come out in VHS boxes. To me, that's worth paying $10 for. I mean,
just I was telling Joe because his store might be different, but Tyler, when you go, it's basically right there on the corner where the women's department starts. They just got like this setup that's just here's like 90s stuff, and I was telling them they got just strange things. Like they have Stranger Things season 2 soundtrack on like cassette. And I'm just like, what is this? It's like everything old is new again.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's tremendous.
It is. Well, I was gonna say we didn't really start. We were just getting ready to start.
Yeah, we were just getting ready to start.
Okay. So perfect timing. So either way, Nathan, you can say what you were gonna say right when you start off, and we can go on from there.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it in about 20 years, and as I said before Tyler jumped in, I was really apprehensive about it because I was like, will Roger Rabbit be super annoying? And I was really, really worried about that. And safe to say, he wasn't. And it's a fantastic film, and it's also watching it. I was like, damn, I watched this as a kid. This is really dark. This is really
a pretty mature film too.
Yeah. And I'm just like, man, as a kid, I don't remember just being like, wow, okay. I'm just like, aha, gloss past it. What's Roger Rabbit doing now? Wow, just the technology involved with it as well. It's a well-crafted what they did. They took this idea and they're like, it's really ambitious and technology is sort of advancing, but we're not entirely there yet. And they took that and just it fucking works. It's an awesome, funny movie. And Tyler, you need to. Tyler was kind of in the same boat. He has reservations about it. He still hasn't seen it in quite a while. He pulled an Amato. I think the last time he watched it was when he rented it at Mike's Pizzeria and Video.
How long would that have been ago?
He's making that part up, but I haven't seen it since VHS. And because when it came out on DVD, I remember when they released the special edition. I just remember thinking about getting it at Walmart, and I thought. It was one of those things where I was really worried that I would get it and it wouldn't hold up. But, I remember the movie vividly, like very, very thoroughly. And I looked up a few clips on YouTube just for the hell of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching like, I remember all this, I remember all this, I remember all that. And, I definitely would like to purchase it so I could watch it from beginning to end because it was – I feel like I say this a lot, but I spent so much time watching movies as a child and watching cartoons. So there were so many films that I, watched so much. And Roger Rabbit was one that I did rent a whole lot. I had the Disney book on tape that I got for Christmas '88. Like when the movie came out, I got like this box set of like Disney storybooks with the cassette tapes for each one. And Roger Rabbit, I got along with the set or separate, but it was in the same Christmas, and that was how I learned about Roger Rabbit. And then I got the movie or rented it, and I thought it was a tremendous film. I thought Roger was such a great character. I had such a crush on Jessica Rabbit. I thought Bob Hoskins was awesome as Eddie Valiant. I thought Judge Doom was pretty creepy as hell.
Yes,
he scared me.
And that was the first time I ever saw Christopher Lloyd was in Roger Rabbit.
Same here. Same here.
No Back to the Future? It wasn't your first?
No,
really?
I may have seen Taxi at the same time, too, because I was watching Taxi and reruns around this time.
Yeah, but when you look at him in this movie, like you just don't see that. It's like you don't see him at all.
It looks like he's got stuff added to his face as well, like some prosthetics added to his. And, I mean, for him to play such a serious character, a villain like that, it's definitely not that he hasn't played villains before, but because I remember like at the end of the film when he reveals that he's a toon, like I thought that was really creepy. I mean, not so much like, oh, this is scary, but I'm like, oh my god,
just the way they superimpose the eyes,
and his voice gets high pitched, and he turns his hand into a cartoon anvil and a saw. It was just, and plus, I even as a kid, and of course, it's more unsettling to me watching him kill that. That like that to me it was more unsettling to me as an adult watching that because I just have such a tender heart for cute cuddly things, and watching him do that I'm like that's what makes a villain, like killing something like that in front of everybody in a film they may say it's meant for kids, but there's a lot of adult content in this film, so it kind of feel like it's like Howard the Duck almost. You think it's meant for kids, but the content and the dialogue is like, this is not really meant for children. But that's what solidifies Judge Doom as like a real prick.
I think that scene as a whole kind of set in motion as a kid of me thinking that inanimate objects had feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, did anyone else ever think that as a kid? Any of you guys, any of the listeners out there, anyone that watches this in the future, like I would look at something, like an action figure or something else, and there'd be I would almost like feel bad for it. Like if it was in bad condition or something, I was like, I feel like that thing has feelings too.
Yeah. I'd feel bad about throwing away shoes that I'd had for a long time. Like, oh man, it'd be like the episode of Doug where he looks in the box of shoes and is like, oh, Doug, don't throw us away, man.
Yeah.
I've been so good to you. I think that about a lot, especially my action figures, because that was just like they were like buddies to me, and you didn't want to see them fall apart or break. And watching, the cartoon shoe die like that, especially when it was just looking for affection from Judge Doom, and when he snaps that rubber glove on, and just his manners of dunking in the dip, and it burns, and he pulls it out, and and he squeaks the glove. You're like, this guy's as bad as Skeletor, man. This has got one evil dude. Him and the Weasels, which I thought were super cool as a kid, the Weasels, because they were so distinct. It looked like gangsters. I'm like, this was just awesome, like they'd be walking around with Tommy guns almost. I think one of them did have a Tommy gun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. I'm gonna say this too. Like about midway through, I was getting a little toasty because I had played some video games before, and I was having some drinks, and then I started to watch the movie. So towards the end, I was a little toasty.
You're like, oh man, there's like talking weasels in their cartoons, man.
Hey, look, man, it's the Weasels.
Yeah.
It does do
like, Joe's like, I have no idea what he's talking
about. No, yeah, because I'm used to. Yeah, I remember Christopher Lloyd from Taxi. The thing is, though, is him as Jim. I remember a couple clips, but Taxi was that one show. I remember I hated the intro for it. Almost like as a kid,
what?
I would hate the intro of this just the music. It took me out of the element. I was like, I don't want to watch this show. And then it'd come out. I was like, oh, it's funny. And then of course there came Back to the Future, so I always knew him as Doc Brown. And then when I seen him in this, I was like, oh my God, Doc's a bad guy. That's how I know him as Doc Brown from Back to the Future. That was my main thing because I just love Back to the Future. But no, it was creepy. Like you said, with that poor little shoe. I mean, he looks so sympathetic, and then he's just melting them in that turpentine and acetone, and I forgot the third thing. Yeah, the dip. Yeah, it became the dip. But it made you think. I was like, I didn't know. It got me like even at the beginning of the movie. I always wondered why he put that on, because I know turpentine, I know acetone, and yes, I know sometimes you could wear gloves. But I was like, why would it burn him? Of course, at the end we find out why. But even as a kid, I used to wonder that. I was like, he's putting this on, but maybe it's because it just looks so nasty. He was burning, and you've seen all the colors all over the glove. It looked kind of gross.
To me, obviously, yeah, because he's a toon, but it makes it sound more menacing when he's taking precautions.
And it looks like it, yeah. And especially because
it just looks cool. It looks evil that he's doing it, like selling that rubber glove.
Yeah, you see the steam, or just the steam and the smoke coming up from the residue of that. But yeah, it does. And it makes it look like it's a vat of toxic waste when you really look at it. But you're right. I mean, not only kind of like adult stuff. I mean, you can think about poor old Acme. Where the safe landed, you just seen looked like an exploded head, or where the remnants of a head was. It's because it was dropped on his head. That's where that safe was dropped. It's like, damn, that's kind of crazy. He's laying there decapitated. So this wasn't as kiddie as you think, but
yeah,
it was also cool to see a lot of characters you loved as kids. Seeing Donald Duck and Daffy Duck together.
That's one of my favorite things is they crossed over so many cartoons. I was like, wow, holy shit.
Mickey and Bugs Bunny. It's like when you're seeing it's like, wow, it's an overload, for a kid, when you're growing up. I mean, it might not be, well, it could be to an extent of like how some people still love seeing a crossover of Marvel and DC with those characters. Well, the fun cartoons back in the day, yeah, it was like a dream come true to seeing them together. And then in the real world, I know they've done cartoons like that in the past. When Song of the South, some of the other ones where you would have crossovers with people in cartoon like Pete's Dragon and stuff. But this one, they took it up to another level, and also you can just see how beautiful the animation is.
Yeah,
all those characters. God, it looks great, and you're right. I was wondering, how could this hold up now? It's not like it ages horribly. Anybody could watch it and say, that's a cool last movie. It doesn't look dated to me, at least I don't think.
It helps that it's a period film, too, that it takes place in like the 30s or 40s, or something like that. At least that's how it looks. It looks like it takes place,
I want to say it was 47 or something.
47.
Yeah. I want to say it's 47.
Yeah, because I had 47 or 57 in my head, but I honestly cannot remember the time. But no, I know what you mean, though. It's a period piece, like Tyler said. But it still works, though. I don't think anybody could watch it and say it was an ugly-looking movie, a silly movie, a dated movie. It held up very well, but I just, like, even with the starting of the intro with that cartoon with Roger Rabbit and Baby Herman, you could definitely see how beautiful animation was that. But it was a cartoon that, bam, when the fridge landed and instead of the stars going around, he had the birds going around. You seen the transition immediately. Like, when the fridge opened, you could see that now it's kind of a real fridge and now it's within the real world. I thought that was a cool kind of intro, how it went from cartoon to us. Yeah.
And it's also funny too with Baby Herman. That threw me off as a kid just to hear that voice coming out of a baby. I was like, "Oh wow, all right, cool."
Yeah.
I thought he was quite just really rude as a kid. Like, man, this is a mean baby, just especially when Eddie like sees like the attractive woman leaning over to the baby carriage later on and lighting a cigar, and he's like, "What the hell?" And really sees Baby Herman just sitting there smoking a big stogie in the carriage there, and I just it was just like,
and then when it falls on the floor,
of a baby talking like a man, it just really kind of threw me for a loop as a kid. Like, how does this? What?
My stogie, and then starts crying. And it's good shit.
It just seemed like he smacks a girl's ass in the movie too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. And see, I hadn't seen it in years, but I remember pretty much the vast majority of the movie. Like, I just like Jessica Rabbit, like showing a lot of leg.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It was like when she comes out and does her dance number or song and dance number, and just like she just rubbing against people and rubbing on them. It was just, as a kid, you're just like Eddie Valiant too. You're just like I envied Acme when she comes over and rubs on his head and pulls on Eddie's tie and gets up real close. And I think as a kid too, like, you're just kind of thinking, like, you're leaning in as well. Like, you're just thinking she's going to give you a nice big one right there in the face, and you're let go. She's just a big tease in the movie.
How is it that I wasn't turning to my dad? When did this came out in '89?
I got a dinger issue here, Dad.
Yeah, my dinger's hard. I do think that's when I sort of started to develop a thing for redheads, because that sort of took off from there. It was always blondes. It was always blondes. I was super into Madonna, like, because Dick Tracy came out. So, oh my god.
And you said, how old were you in 1988? How old again?
4.
All right. Yeah.
We're both 4.
Oh, you're both 4.
Yeah, but I'm thinking too, like, I watched more of this film on VHS, because I want to say that I did see this in theaters, but I remember watching the VHS a lot. So I'm going to put myself around 5 and like 89.
Okay.
That's probably when I was watching this all the time.
Yeah, it probably would have been early 89, because when I got the book, it would have been Christmas 88. And I was aware of it. And I ended up getting like a little figurine of Roger Rabbit at this at the River Valley Mall. There was a store that sold little figurines and candy, and it was right around the corner from Jolly Time Arcade. I remember I got a Roger Rabbit figurine from there too. It wasn't a bendy figure; it was like a solid, like, PVC figure of him kind of waving at you.
Yeah,
but I just thought it was such it was.
I had the plush, like the big plush. My grandma got it for me. And Tyler, I don't know if you remember, but he actually, like, the packaging at his feet is just Benny the Cab in like cardboard form.
Cool.
Yeah, so I still have that somewhere at my parents'. I'm pretty sure when they were going through the attic a lot and we were digging stuff out, we found that and we took it, and a couple. I want to say we took that and the Pee Wee Herman doll that I had. I think we put those together in a bag.
Why aren't those sitting right there behind you instead of My Little Pony?
Hey, that is all Emily's stuff. That is Emily's stuff.
I'm just waiting for, like, it's gone. He just kind of tells her, we don't have room for this. I got to make room for Roger and Pee Wee here.
Well, why? The guys keep giving me shit about it, all right? Well, you just leave it alone.
That's why she's going to leave it there.
But yeah, when we get a bigger house, that's the intention, is to, like, buy a house that's got the space. I'm going to display everything. So I'm going to go to my parents, go through the attic, dig all that shit out, and I'll be like, all right, so yeah, once I find that, I will properly display them somewhere at some point. It's going to be good. Because Tyler's gonna walk in and see like all my box stuff, and he's like, son of a bitch. Well, hey, when are you going out of town? I'll be more than happy to watch the dogs for you and come back.
Absolutely, everything's the whole gone. Place has been ransacked. It looks like the Grinch has been there. There's not even a crumb in the house. I've just taken all his toys.
I guess somebody broke in, dude. I don't know. He like sets it up to make it look like someone else did it. Yeah.
And was that because you got doubles of everything, one to open, one to keep sealed, or you just never played with your toys?
No, my parents just kept all the boxes. Like they'd take everything out. I would have them displayed, play with them, whatever. But they always kept the boxes to play sets and vehicles and things like that. So the Batcave from the '89 film, the Batwing, the Batmobile, all that shit. Got the box for that.
You got the Ghostbusters Firehouse box.
Ghostbuster Firehouse box. Ecto 1 in the box.
Of course, you have. Oh, he's all set.
Well, it's like I'm always surrounded by guys who always had more toys and stuff than I did. Like Joe lives in parts unknown. He's just telling me just how great all the stuff he had. I'm like, and then Nathan comes along. Oh yeah, I didn't even know I had that.
Right.
Matt Hilton had the Ghostbusters Firehouse box still on display. Josh had all the Power Ranger toys and X-Men books. Like I'm surrounded by people who got everything that I don't.
Hey, you should have been smarter and kept your boxes, man.
How was that? Hey, it's not like I didn't want to, but I mean, it's my parents. Just
he's gonna go see his mom today.
Is, you're just gonna throw it in the corner. That was the answer. That's all you ever heard. I'm just gonna throw it in the corner, as if like, oh yeah, I'm done.
I should have kept my boxes. I only had the card backs, the top card pieces of art.
Even that, I'd get my left nut. If I'd held on to those, because so many of those I remember vividly as a kid.
Yeah.
But then, like always, you open up, you start playing with it, and mom and dad grab the stuff and throw it away, and you never see it again. So,
sucks. But well, hey, I was gonna say back to Roger Rabbit since we did our quick side rant. No, it's like I said, it's a cool story from beginning to end. Meaning, first you find out about Eddie Valiant, you find out about his brother being killed by a Toon. So he has this grudge against Toons, even though that they used to work, in Toon Town, and that was the main thing they did. Even rescuing Huey, Dewey, and Louie. There's a lot of cases that they cracked. But yeah, then one of the Toons was supposed to kill his brother. He has this grudge, against him. Of course, he's hired from this case from R.K. Maroon. He wants to, get pictures of Jessica Rabbit, doing something with Acme. And they're playing, out of all things, when it was patty cake. But I guess that must be some,
to me, that was just as naughty as having sex as a kid.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, too, is like you hear like the moaning and stuff. And then when they show the pictures to Roger and then tell him they're playing patty cake, he's like, patty cake. And he just gets really upset.
I was just as upset as Roger was as a kid. I'm like, how dare she do that?
You know what? Later on tonight.
Didn't they make it into a big thing like that? They said that basically patty cake in the Toon world is like a sexual act. So that's why it's done. It's like, oh God, but go ahead, Nathan.
No, I was just going to say later tonight, I'm just going to look at Emily and be like, time for patty cake.
She just looks at you like.
Yeah. That look of just like.
Can I just sleep?
Yeah.
But also, you find out that, and then you see, as it goes on, there's supposed to be a will that maybe you heard when little baby Herman was mentioned about a will that he was supposed to have going to leave the whole Toontown to all the Toons, and of course Eddie Valiant, he's like, there's no will, like, and then when he goes in, he sees the newspaper and that one picture, not the newspaper, the photos.
Yeah, that's the thing because he's a drunk.
Yeah, he's
an alcoholic. So him putting that glass down, he's like, "Oh, wait a minute," and that's when it like magnifies it, so you can see that it does.
Magnifying glass, and you see there is a will that actually exists, and there's always the stuff that leads up. You don't know immediately when you're first watching a movie, but then as you watch, like, oh, I see the lead up. When he first sat there and he squirted Valiant, when that Acme squirted him with that disappearing ink.
Yeah, I love his laugh when he did it too.
Exactly, because it never gets old. But then you find out, that's what that happened when Roger got that one piece of paper that looked blank, and he wrote a love letter to Jessica. And of course, later at the end of the show, you find out it's not just disappearing; it's disappearing, reappearing ink. And as he's reading the letter, you see that it's an actual will. That's how they find it towards the end. But it had a lot of build up to that. You find out about that one red thing, the trolleys that go through the town are being bought up by some green clover thing. Cloverleaf, there you go. And of course, that's Judge Doom who's behind that because he just wants to wipe out Toontown from existence so he can bring in a freeway. Oh, yeah, freeway. What's this? You can take the penny thing or whatever the fuck trolley. But it is weird just to hear, see that it was in a way talking about a freeway, which yes, we get freeways eventually, but yeah, he's a Toon, but he's so obsessed he doesn't care. He wants to wipe out all of Toontown with that gigantic vat of dip that he created. What, he had like 5,000 gallons or some insanity? I couldn't remember, but he said he'll wipe out Toontown in minutes. But throughout that, like I said, the whole movie, there's a lot of funny parts. There's, like you said, some parts that seem dark. You see with Roger, he is like, if he gets alcohol in him, it makes him like explode like a tea kettle or whatever. You know how he screams, goes up, glass breaks, which that led to a part later. But I'll pass it back to you guys. But I liked, like I said, there was just so much going on. It never had a moment to where you were like bored. You know, it was, even though there could be parts where there was talking, it still kept your attention enough. Because that's the other thing you wonder. It's like, oh, is this going to be a movie also where there'll be parts that loses you to where you don't care about what they're saying? It's like, no, it pretty much kept you going the whole damn movie.
Well, I mean, this is back in an era when, I don't know, Hollywood still had some magic left in it. Like, you look at this concept on paper and you're just like, that seems really ridiculous. And you just watch it in motion. You're just like, holy shit. Like,
and it's based on books too, I believe. Like there's an actual
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's just, shit, man. I don't know. Like, we were, before we picked this, I every week I'm like, hey guys, what are you thinking? And Joe's like, well, what about Roger Rabbit? And I'm like, you know what? That's actually perfect. Cause in my head, and I was thinking movies that appealed to kids, but were actually kind of dark enough and like, you know, adults can appreciate it more. So in my head, I'm like, you know, Princess Bride, Little Monsters, things like that. And it's just all of these zany concepts. Like, I'm thinking of Little Monsters right now and like Monster Squad. And it's just, what happened? We do this every time that we talk about some of these films, but every time, just because I go and revisit these before we do the show, I'm just like, what happened? Why is Hollywood not like this anymore? Why are they not coming up with cool, interesting ideas that think outside the box? It's like,
no, I agree. I do agree. And also, here's the thing. I mean, I loved Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And then years later, a movie came out that just did not interest me. And I remember Cool World. I remember I seen the preview. I was like, I don't know. It didn't look good to me. And I still, believe it or not, to this day, have never seen it, even though I remember they were going to make that into a video game also for the Sega CD back in the day. And I was like, oh, that would be kind of cool to see interaction with that. Of course, it never came to be. But I know that Cool World, it bombed at the box office. Mm-hmm. So it made you think they probably figured, okay, maybe people aren't into these, you know, real life / cartoon crossover things anymore. It's like, no, we are, if you can make a story that looks good and is interesting, you know, like they did with Roger Rabbit. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen Cool World, so I shouldn't pass judgment. I wonder, is it as bad as everybody said?
I haven't seen it either.
I rented it when it came out on VHS. And
what were your thoughts? Was it bad or was it good? I mean, I don't know.
I found it kind of forgettable. I guess in my eyes, I expected it to be more. And you know what? Maybe that's the thing. It probably is due like a revisit, because it may have been something. And I that's a movie that I remember the hype around it, the advertisement I would see on the back of comic books.
That's where I remember seeing it the most, was on the back of comic books.
Yeah, the Kim Basinger cartoon, like going up, kind of rubbing up against Brad Pitt's character. And I don't know. I just found it. I did finish the film, but I didn't find it entertaining at all.
What was it about, by chance? What was
it's kind of like a crime. I remember it being kind of like a crime story, but he's like a detective. It's about a comic book artist or an animator who comes up with this world called Cool World, and he's got like a like Brad Pitt's like the real cop in this world of like cartoon characters, and Kim Basinger is the female lead, and she becomes a real life character, and then Gabriel Byrne ends up becoming cartoon characters. I just have vague recollections of it, and it just was not as entertaining. Maybe if I watched it as an adult, there may have been a lot more adult content and themes. Kind of like when I watched Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Mm-hmm. As a kid, it bored the hell out of me because it wasn't the traditional action Batman animated feature. As an adult, I'm like, this could rival the '89 film in terms of like the best Batman feature films because it's so serious. And that might be what the case was with Cool World. I have not watched. It's probably 20 years since I've seen Cool World, and I haven't seen it on DVD. I don't think I've really come across. It's really one of those films of the '90s that has just been
kind of lost to time.
Really lost to time. Like, I don't even know because what makes some of these films fun is that they do have a small fan following. But I have not ever heard anybody reference Cool World.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. Yeah, I'll be honest. In any discussions I have, I don't think Cool World ever comes up. I mean, Roger Rabbit, predates it, which was a huge success. Cool World came. It seems like then nobody wanted to talk about it, and then probably until Space Jam was the next time you seen a kind of a crossover of humans with cartoons, which of course that's going to succeed on the popularity of Michael Jordan along with Looney Tunes. But yes, and that did well. But I would wonder if they'd ever try to revisit again recently and have some cool kind of crossover, whether it's Looney Tunes, Disney characters.
Yeah, but they've done Looney Tunes, like they did Looney Tunes Back in Action. That was a big flop too.
Oh, what was that by chance? Because I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I had Brendan Fraser,
Steve Martin playing like the Acme, the guy who runs Acme.
Okay.
And it looked, and I'm a Looney Tune fanatic. Like I love old school Looney Tunes, especially Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. And you watch, even in Space Jam, like the Looney Tune material is very substandard. Like it's not funny. It's like they're just relying on you to see, oh, that's Bugs and Daffy talking, and not actually making them entertaining. They're just there. Like Space Jam, it was a blast to watch. I love the soundtrack. I love Michael Jordan playing basketball, the Looney Tunes playing basketball, the Monsters, everything.
Was that Back in Action any good? Or did that succeed, or was that a flop too? I wasn't sure.
Space Jam?
No, the Back in Action one you were talking about.
Oh, no, it was a complete flop.
It was a flop too?
Yeah, it just came and went. And when I immediately thought, too, Brendan Fraser, I'm like, that's not good. Yeah. It just looked bad. And plus, they don't know how to write Looney Tune humor anymore. I mean, if you watch the old stuff, I find it more funny now than I did as a kid. And when you see any current Looney Tune stuff, it's not very good. It's very vanilla light humor, almost as if they're really just relying on you to recognize the character, and that's all they're expecting you to want.
I kind of feel like that. I kind of feel like that's with most things now. It's like, oh, hey, you remember that, right?
Yeah.
You better like it. It's like, do I though?
Yeah, and I think that's what I like and appreciate about Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Sure, we had Looney Tune characters in the background and Disney characters, but they focused on a brand new character. It was, Roger Rabbit, and it was his story revolving around him and what was going on, which you can kind of respect. Wait, what the hell happened with Nathan? It looked like he
No, for a second it felt like there was something in my ear, and I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, yeah, don't want that. But no, that's what I was saying to Tyler. I was like, yeah, at least with Roger Rabbit, it was a brand new character with, yes, Looney Tunes and Disney characters in the background, but they weren't playing a main focal point in the cartoon. In fact, all the cartoon characters, you think about it, from the Weasels and everything. And the Cab, I hate when I forget the Cab. Bernie? What was his name? Okay, yeah, I mean, they're all brand, and of course, Jessica.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. But yeah, in Jessica Rabbit, I mean, yeah, they're all brand new characters, but in the background was Looney Tunes and was Disney. But with a lot of the other ones that you guys were talking about, not just talking about Cool World because it just flopped, it was just a disaster apparently, but the Space Jam, which was cool and it did great, but like I said, Tyler said, some of the jokes were kind of flat. Looney Tunes Back in Action just didn't work with people in general. And they were all the main stars, though. You know what I mean? It was like the main Looney Tune characters. I would like to see them try to create a brand new cartoon character. And if they had to do something in the background with Disney or Warner Brothers Looney Tunes characters, sure. But I would love to see something new like that if they could do it and if they can make it work and have that level of beautiful animation, because you can't deny that the animation was just fantastic.
That's the thing too. I know they're trying to do a new Space Jam. And I imagine when that comes out, it's going to be CG. It's not going to look like hand-drawn stuff anymore.
Yeah, it's essentially, it's not a sequel. I think it's just remaking Space Jam with LeBron James in it, and it's
why didn't the first Space Jam?
It does. I mean, obviously, I kind of feel like if you want to do another one, then just do another one and just don't make it a reboot. Just make it its own thing or something like that.
Oh, it's a reboot that it's going to be.
They're essentially just remaking the first film, and just instead of Jordan, it's LeBron James, and
it's gonna flop. I bet you it'll flop.
I mean, I don't think it'll do gangbusters, because I know kids are somewhat familiar with Looney Tunes. They've done several reincarnations of. I think there's one that's been on Cartoon Network somewhat recently, but it looks awful. And plus, they're not going to. They keep these characters so tame that when you see like the humor in Roger Rabbit, or the humor of Looney Tunes, like the original run, even up to through like the 70s, even though the voices changed, the humor is still there. Like some of it's, when you got Bugs Bunny, you're sitting with playing Russian roulette with each other, I mean, that's some pretty ballsy stuff. However, I'm not saying that I want to see that in like a Space Jam with LeBron James, But Bugs Bunny needs to be the alpha male of the Looney Tune characters. He's got to be walking around pissing off Elmer Fudd, Yosemite Sam, or whoever. Daffy's got to be out of his mind, pissed off about something. Porky Pig has got to be kind of naive. They have to be able to play off. They need to treat them with respect. Don't just treat them as just they're there for LeBron James to interact with. And that's really about it. It's like I feel like why not make it fun for the adults? It shouldn't be just something that you take your kids to, hoping to God they'll sit there quietly and not crawl all over you and like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Can I have some more candy, Daddy? Instead of actually like being fixated on what you're seeing here. The parents, I hate how they always feel like today that entertainment for parents, it's not important. That a parent is just taking their kids to see this drivel, and that I'm sure maybe some of them find like, oh, I just love them. That Shark Tale movie with Will Smith doing an MC Hammer reference because I know. Oh, damn it!
Hit a Joe moment.
God damn it! I want to say too before Tyler gets back.
That's what happens when I'm on a roll. It's just I get.
Yeah, I do want to say, because I did look it up. Cool World is streaming on Amazon Prime Video right now. So you know what? I might actually check that out here pretty soon.
Is it on Netflix by chance?
I'll have to log in on the Xbox.
Is Amazon Prime something you pay for, or is that something you can just
Amazon Prime is what you pay for to get like the free shipping, but then they also have the streaming service, and there's like a music service that like comes free with that. So like I could go into Amazon Music and type in an artist and be like, here's some albums that you can just stream and listen to. All right, I've done that.
Oh. Okay, all right. Didn't know what the hell it was. I was just
kind of like Tumblr, right, Joe?
Yeah, Tumblr. I was like, what the hell's a fucking Tumblr? And then people started describing it. I see it. I'm like, oh, I guess they're right with what they were saying about Tumblr. When they were, I was like, I don't know.
You guys did a good job yesterday on the the dissection of the She-Ra cartoon. And of course, Joe did play it safe, trying to be,
We thought we would disappoint you in that regard. That we just
didn't. But you guys did not. You guys didn't disappoint. And like you vented why it sucked.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. And I. As we said before, we don't like to go out and alienate everybody because people are like it. It's like if someone does like it, they have to come out and kind of throw something at people, so that way they don't get a reaction of like, you moron, what do you don't know what you're talking about, or vice versa. So, but you guys did a good job on that. I'm just glad I didn't have to sit through any more of She-Ra. So,
yeah, because dude, you wouldn't have made it.
I know I wouldn't have, and I'm at the point where I'm not going to voluntarily watch garbage just for the sake of it. I'm not doing it.
No, it makes sense. And even if you had trudged along and you were making that prom episode would have broke you. It would have broke you. It almost broke
I'd be like, Nathan, I think I'm going to start drinking now.
Yeah.
Like I'm at that point where I'm no longer straight edge.
Yeah, fuck my acid reflux. I'm just going to get really drunk now.
Yeah, I'll throw in some drugs into the mix there too. It's like Weird Al in UHF. Hey, I'm going to have a drink. But you don't drink. Yeah, but I've been meaning to start.
You know what? That is a movie. Joe, do you like UHF?
Do I have to answer the question? Do I have to answer what I'm going to
say? Yes.
Oh, man.
You're on the spot now.
Joe, never seen it.
What?
Great. Well, Tyler, that's another. Add that one to the list of episodes we'll do when Joe.
Got a bunch of stuff
Joe can't make the show.
Because Joe's claiming to have experienced so much back then. You throw out something like UHF, like, what's a UHF?
When was it made? But yes,
1989, Summer of Batman.
Yeah, it came out the same week as Batman, didn't it? Or the week before, or the week after, something like that.
It was somewhere. I mean, it was out around the same time as like Batman, Last Crusade, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I think Lethal Weapon 2. All that stuff was in theaters at the same time.
Yeah, that might have been it. I might have got too hyped on things.
Well, even they say that when the film was released, like they were doomed from the get-go. Because
that might have been my reason, because I would get caught up in things. Like you said, I was in that super Batman craze. I was like obsessed when that damn movie came out. Yeah. And then Last Crusade, loved that damn Last Crusade.
Ghostbusters 2 came out the same summer too. Like
that
Karate
one
Kid
was
Part 3.
Yeah, like well,
shut up.
Okay, no, so Karate Kid 3, I didn't flip over, and Ghostbusters 2, it was okay, but yeah, I was
too, man, Joe.
Sorry, but I was sucked in. No, I was sucked into Batman: The Last Crusade. I loved it. So
well,
yeah,
I thought you were saying like your dog in Ghostbusters too.
No. It was just no.
I mean, it's not a Christmas movie by any means, but it's still good.
I still managed to see that summer. I only saw Batman and Ghostbusters 2 in theaters. Like everything else, like I didn't see Indiana Jones Last Crusade till video. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, I didn't see till video. Karate Kid 3, I didn't see till video.
Same here.
I think that I would have liked to seen that movie because I love Weird Al's music videos. I always love those. But
I watched it last year for the first time in years, and the humor doesn't hold. There are some scenes that still hold up, like Raul Hernandez's Wild Kingdom is the best scene in the movie. But a lot of the stuff is just kind of like dated humor. Like you just kind of have to appreciate. I mean, because some of it is still fun, but it's not like you will roll back hysterically or like, oh, this humor is really. I mean, it's still held up. It's not like Naked Gun humor, even though the movie is constant parodying the situation. Some of it's, some of it's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's still worth discussing on the podcast, though.
Yeah, if I can Netflix it or YouTube it, I'd watch it. But
that's maybe we just might have to send you like a copy through Amazon or something on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, hey, check your mailbox.
Yeah.
But Sunday.
Oh, and Nathan just orders it on Amazon Prime right now. Hey, Joe, you might check your mailbox here in the next 10 minutes. Yeah.
Hey, they got those drones and shit. Uh-oh. What happened to you, Joe?
For some reason, it's saying my battery's at 15%, and it was fully charged when I did this. And I'll see how long it stays around.
Try. Can't you keep it charged while you're talking?
Well, I have it charged in my laptop, but what the hell? It keeps flicking on and off. Like maybe my wire's screwing up. It keeps saying allow connection, and it says 15%. God damn, you prick!
We're gonna have to get that GoFundMe started sooner.
Yeah.
God, enough of that fucking thing, Flash.
Like if you donate so much, you get to see Joe's chin.
Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm just trying to get
$500. You get to meet him at McDonald's for a free McRib or something. Like but the mask stays on, people.
Yeah. For $800, you can get a Happy Meal and he can steal the toy.
Yeah.
I'm still here. I can hear it. Just
$1,000, you can buy Joe a Happy Meal.
I like that. I appreciate a fucking Happy Meal. Damn it. Send me food
with 4 nuggets.
Yeah,
that's always pissed me off about Happy Meals back when we were kids. Like 4 nuggets. This ain't a meal. Give me the 10-piece.
Yeah, give me the 10-piece. Or fuck, man.
And then you work the 20-piece. You're like, oh god, you trying to stuff those last 3 nuggets in your mouth. Oh, I got to do it, man. I can't let it go to waste.
Yeah,
like I said, they should have called it a happy snack, not a Happy Meal.
And then when I would hang out, it's like, oh, let's just get the 50-piece.
Yeah, I haven't gotten those party trays from Chick-fil-A before, man. That's the way to go, man. That's awesome doing that.
Do that one day. Just have it there sitting on the recliner with some dipping sauces and just like
chow down.
Just chow down.
It's awesome doing it too. I don't know if I do it right now, but I have done it a few times, and it's if you got at least 2 people, it goes fast.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
Eric Amon said instead of one of those thermometers they use for fundraisers, gradually filling with each donation, Joe would gradually reveal his face as the donations increase. It would be like that scene in Major League.
Yeah. We reveal a piece of the mask. Just reveal like a flesh-colored Modulok mask.
That scene in Major League when he gets hit by the pitch, and he's just like, oh, and like that still gets me every single time.
That's still a good movie, Major League.
Still hold that. That should be one we should talk about on this. Have you seen Major League?
Yes, I've seen Major League 1 and 2. I have seen.
What is that? Is that a football movie?
Yeah, is that unnecessary roughness?
No. Yes, I've seen those. I think I'm on the camera now. Hopefully good. We'll see how long it lasts.
You're back to VHS quality there.
If at one point I just disappear, it's because the battery just goes off. But I plugged everything in. It's not giving my alert no more. So maybe that wire was just loose or something.
You might have to go to Dollar Tree and get you a new wire.
Because I'm looking at like when you guys are talking. And like I said, I see your screen. It fills up the whole screen. So does Nathan's. And then when I talk, you see these little black bars on the side, like it's just old.
You're moving super slow too. Like just for you to lift your hands up, it's like a flip book.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
slowly.
Fire, man. That song's gonna be playing. Doon 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 doon.
You know, it reminds me of it reminds me of when I got pissed off because, like I said, I play. Yes, it always goes back to video games. I love my Sega.
By the way, I love Sega Spider-Man jacket over there in the closet.
You have it. Well, by God, kids, gather around here, little children.
Well, listen. So Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo love both the systems, and I remember when they had Street Fighter, come out, and then they had Street Fighter Turbo Edition for Super Nintendo, and then they were gonna have this Champion Edition for Genesis. Like, what? There's an extra and it's different. And I remember when the Genesis would sometimes have a version they would release, they would, for some reason, on the top have a black bar that went across. So the graphics didn't fill the whole screen for, I think, one of their Street Fighters. I was like, what? Why didn't it fill the whole screen? Why did it have to have this black bar that just, it's like, because it wouldn't fill the whole resolution of the screen. So that's why I'm thinking of me looking here. I feel like I'm the Street Fighter Champion Edition of YouTube.
I was going to say, where is this going?
It's like, where's this going? Like, what? But no, that's what I think of the quality, is when they have to cut something down to fill it in. One day I'll fill the whole screen. Damn it! Maybe my quality will be better, and I'll have better tablet.
You know what? We're gonna start a GoFundMe. That's what we're gonna do.
No GoFundMe's, but no, because that means you'll have to have a phone service,
we could do like a telethon, like Jerry Lewis, like Joe's kids.
We're all like, what are you talking about?
We're answering the phone, taking donations from people, and we could be like the host, and we can kind of like lean over to Joe, like he's like a. Like a Sally Struthers child or something like that.
I'm kind of getting the vibe that Joe doesn't know what GoFundMe is either.
Well, I mean, I don't want people that would actually involve money, and I wouldn't want people still.
Well, I think we're already past that when you received items that cost money to be sent to you.
I think it would be good. It'd be the community that we have coming together to help you get a new setup. I think we should do it. I think we should do it.
And while the money's rolling in, we pan over to Joe, and he's sitting there with a nice box of like McDonald's food, just kind of giving us a thumbs up as you just can focus on the meals that are being sent to him. Any donation helps. You want to send him a Happy Meal or send him like a Wendy's Frosty. Make sure it's the kid size. We don't want him to feel bad if you bought him a big one.
I feel bad that it does always have to come to this. I apologize when this stuff goes bad, and I try to stay real still.
I think by this point, not that we ever get like a lot of like feedback of people who do listen to this. Like they never like make jokes about it or reference it and stuff like that. But I like to think that that's just part of the gimmick of the show. I'm the the grumpy guy on the show.
You're the blowhard asshole.
I'm the blowhard asshole. Joe's patches. And Nathan's, just Mr. Low Key. Just everything is like, that's not My Little Pony back there.
Damn it.
Oh shit!
I think we should. We should take a poll with everybody that listens and joins us. Leave a comment down below on this video if you think you'd be game for a GoFundMe for Joe. That way we can buy him. Shit, man! All he needs what, like a tablet or something? We could do that. Easy. Shit, you know what? I'll just buy one right now.
No.
He's going on Amazon right now.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So seriously, we gotta go back to Roger Rabbit because I don't want to talk about you guys sending me stuff. So go ahead.
He's already gonna make like a phone call.
How would you respond to that, Joe? If someone who happened to be named Nathan, sent you an iPad, are you really going to say, "I hate you," and the podcast is over, and flip it over, and you just like footage you just stabbing it, and
Joe,
we're just giving you shit. We won't do the GoFundMe.
Good, thank you. All right,
good. So, I don't want your damn money.
Yeah. So So how do you want to wrap up Roger Rabbit? Because you might have to. So in case I get kicked off, you guys still might be talking, but I don't know if I will get kicked off.
Yeah. I mean, we can go ahead and wrap up the subject on Roger Rabbit. I kind of feel like we mostly said what we had to say. We love the performances. We love the animation. We love the story. We like how Joe, it's kind of similar to how we were talking about on our She-Ra review. There we go.
How Roger Rabbit was great and She-Ra totally sucked.
Well, just how you can make something that appeals to kids and adults, but it also doesn't. It's not like talking down to kids. It's not like, hey kids, it doesn't pigeonhole them and like, well, you're dumb and look at these flashy lights. It's like, no, it's something that they can watch. It like makes them think. I don't know where I was.
Yeah, because if you think that the writing of Adora saying, you talking to me, princess? I'm like, oh my God, man. Like you're throwing in like the most cliche, like Robert De Niro quote in a children's cartoon that doesn't fit.
I didn't bring up that the whole scene with Seahawk was a complete ripoff of the Cantina scene where they met Han Solo, too. Oh. They actually almost did that copy bit for bit when they needed somebody to captain to get them somewhere. How Han Solo with the Millennium Falcon, but Seahawks.
Man, I tell you that Noelle Stevenson, man, she's got the most creative ideas I've ever heard of.
Isn't it? Yeah, so they just did that bit for bit, and he even talked about how he did it in a certain amount of time, you know, how it was parsecs for Star Wars for this.
So I was like, I'll just rip off that really old movie from 1977. I mean, who the hell ever watches those things? They're more about like
that's what happens. Remember when you have
Star Wars stuff.
Well, Tyler, remember that's what happens when you have an imagination. Because remember, in her words, men don't have an imagination. That's what she said.
And clearly, and all the men are about as they have no backbone. They have the brain of an ice cube and the self-esteem of a worm. Like I said,
that's what pissed me off from the get-go was her disrespecting an entire gender. It's like, promote your cartoon and everything else, but even still showing before your cartoon, what's the sense of insulting men like that? Saying men lack imagination, like, oh, that's real nice. That's not sexist at all, but whatever.
And they're lazy-ass writing, just ripping off, cliches and quotes from movies that you can find any T-shirt at your local Walmart.
Well, that was the thing, just with Seahawk and Bo, and it just seemed like there wasn't. It seemed like they made it a point to make sure that there wasn't a strong male character. It's like Bo always needed to rely on She-Ra and Glimmer. Yes, he would fight and everything, but it just seemed like he really needed to rely on them. And
even the only unique male character from the Horde that when it was part of the trainees, the little white guy with blonde hair, he was like a buffoon that's always screwing up and getting thrown to the side and was a moron. Everybody else was competent, but not the little guy. He was
like, I feel like if I would have watched that in the context of had she not said all those things, I probably wouldn't have thought as much of it. But since she put that out there and all that,
she did it. It's not us.
So when I watch that, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's
just annoying. Like I said, because that's not what you need to do. You don't need to insult men or women or anything. Don't insult any gender. Don't insult any.
Yeah, for someone who's all about pushing equality and acceptance and everything. I mean, she just wants to alienate men. Like, right here, guys, I watched your little Seahawk and Bo characters, and they're just, it's like, well, I don't think you did, ma'am. I think you're too busy being lazy about pushing your own nonsense on all of us. And then,
that's what just annoyed me. Like I said, when you do that kind of stuff, it's like, you're going to get people pissed off from the beginning, insulting people like that. So, it's something you shouldn't do on either side. I've said that before, but she did it. So it's like, it's not like I'm making this up. You can go ahead and see any tweets. You can see her interviews. You can see the stuff that she said, and it's not like people are making it up. But, we don't want to talk about that because now I get upset. But love Roger Rabbit. You got to see that damn movie. If you haven't, it's not one that ages horribly. It ages beautifully, and you can watch it at any time.
Very, very well. Well, Joe, what would you give it out of 5 stars?
I love Roger Rabbit. I'd give that a 5. There ain't nothing wrong with it. I fucking love Roger Rabbit.
All right, Tyler. Based off of your your memory of it, what would you give it out of 5?
I'd give it a 5 too. I mean, to see the great dialogue, the mature content, the mature story, and that kids could enjoy it, but a lot of stuff goes over their heads, whereas parents can watch it and you get all of it, but you don't feel like this is a little too inappropriate for children here. But even that, like growing up as children of the 80s, that's not how our parents looked at stuff. Unless you flat out saw like a pair of titties out in the open like that, or Alex Murphy's hand being blown off or something like that. That might be a bit too much for children. But overall, no, I give it a 5 out of 5. Absolutely, it's something I would hope my nephew would want to watch, and I definitely need to make a point to buy it on Blu-ray so I can sit and watch it completely because I do remember vividly everything in that movie. So it's a great film. It stands the test of time, and I there's not a negative thing to say about it.
I give it 5 stars as well. There was one other scene I wanted to talk about with the weasels. They laugh themselves to death.
Oh yeah,
they fall into the various traps and things, and then the ghosts just pop. It just fun, imaginative.
Their laughs too. Their laughs were awesome.
You knew it was going to build up, didn't you? Because the whole movie, they said, "Stop laughing." It's going to stop. It kept warning, and then that's when, like you said, Eddie Valiant, he knew, okay, time to turn on that crazy music and do a little dance routine and a skit, and had them all laughing themselves to death. I was like, yeah, I like that. That was pretty cool. And that one weasel, the one that was the real super insane one, flipped that switch back right at the end, even his ghost form went and flicked it over to
knowing that he's in a straitjacket, like flopping around, like I just like that's classic Looney Tune. A throwback to classic Looney Tunes. Like you have a character in a straitjacket running around. Today we'd be like, that's insensitive, people. Like, oh, shut up.
Yeah. Too PC these days, but just a classic film.
Yep.
That will
got all 5. Got 5 stars from all of us.
Yeah. I feel like the next thing that we pick for next week, whatever that is, I'm hoping that we do kind of have some varying opinions on it, just because past couple weeks has been like, yeah, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars.
But we know we're not that self-centered Rotten Tomatoes site, where we say, oh, it's all great, it's all certified, fresh.
Oh my God, how rigged is that? If anybody goes like, God, talk about rigged crap,
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's.
But hey, at least with us, we're giving genuine reasons why we think it's a perfect film. We're not, because I almost feel like people who do press junkets now, when they give reviews, they've sat down with all the actors and talked to them and laughed with them. Now they're expected to review the film that they just got buddy with this guy or that lady. You almost kind of feel like, how are you really going to go and write a bad or genuine review about something when you've just got done hanging out with the cast? Almost as if like it kind of influences your take on it because the people who worked on it or dealt with them or something like that. I mean, I guess we'd probably be in the same boat too if we were, interviewing.
All right, so if you were interviewing Chris Pratt,
I wouldn't be in the same room with Chris Pratt.
And then you're just like, yeah, you know what? It was really great. He's awesome. I like his movies a lot. This movie in particular was really, really good. I was going to come up with some fancy ass title, but I can't come up with anything else.
No, I would picture that.
There's Chris Pratt Rise Again, where it's just him making a face.
Picture this. Think of that in a real life situation. Let's say hypothetically, Tyler Ridley. What if you were at some comic convention and you were doing some interviews, but they said, okay, we have an interview for you. They had you in your own room for a person, and up came Chris Pratt for you to interview. What would you do in that situation if you think about it? Because this is really, think about if you could be in that situation, you had a microphone, and bam, he came up. What would you say to that guy?
I mean, I'm not an ugly person at all. Like, I don't like to be ugly to people, period. But I felt like if I sat down with the guy, I'd like to think that, okay, all right, I'm sure every actor that I have trashed, from Will Ferrell to Mark Wahlberg, to Chris Pratt, and there's got Vin Diesel, of course I heard Vin Diesel is a real diva anyway, and he sucks at everything. But I'm quite sure all these guys are very nice people. Very nice people. They will talk to fans. They'll carry on with them, things like that. But I do feel like, all right, look, Chris, I'm here to interview about your movie or whatever. But I have to say, like, I can't get into the Guardian films. I did not like the Jurassic Kingdom world, whatever nonsense. I didn't like it. If you're so funny, why aren't you contributing more? Like, if you were so funny on Parks and Rec, why can't you bring that? And I've never watched the show, but that's what people always point to when they have something to say about him. Like, why aren't you bringing that instead of using this very juvenile humor that seems to make the Guardian films so popular when they're using humor that they just went to a local middle school and had a bunch of kids. They went to the local bathroom. Oh, look at all these, like, titty jokes and dick jokes. This is great for my script about, a guy named Star
Well, that's
Wars.
the thing. He's not writing it. He's just being paid to say the lines.
Okay, at this point, he's got enough pull.
You think he could just put his foot down and just be like, all right, I'm not doing
there's
that.
so many actors now that are allowed to improv on their films. Of course, you hear in that god-awful Ghostbusters remake, they just let everyone just say a bunch of silly stuff, and it'll be great. And if they don't like it, we'll say they're a bunch of sexists. Not that I'm saying, I encourage Chris Pratt. If all he's got is the same kind of humor that was in Ghostbusters, the remake, then I just like put a piece of duct tape over his mouth and a sock in there too. But I just felt like if you're that funny, I can do something.
I could see Tyler just being like, all right, you know what, sir?
What? I just think I would have to just swallow my tongue, get through it, and ask the most little as possible.
But then he would pull out his phone and he'd bring up episode 60 of Beyond Retro and just be like, yeah, but this is what you said about me.
Yeah, and then say, you know what, buddy? All right, the gloves are off. Take the glasses off. Here I am. You know what? Yes, I mean every word of this. And why the hell are you dating Schwarzenegger's daughter? That ought to be me.
Oh, no, that's going to be awesome. I hope they get married.
No. I should be the one in that family.
That's so fantastic. Chris Pratt, if this all turns out the way I wanted to, Chris Pratt would be Arnold's
Joe and his
son-in-law.
It's just like an STD in the Schwarzenegger family, It's just, it needs to be wiped out.
Oh, man.
I need to carry on the threshold of the Schwarzenegger name.
I won't do no more hypotheticals. Good Lord, I went insane. I did want to say hello real quick to Eric Kamen and Wiley Walden.
I forgot that Joe did ask me that.
He was like, wow, Jesus, Joe asked a hypothetical and went insane. But yes, Wiley Walden, thank you for joining us. And one other thing I want how do we
there we go.
Let's say we were to review a horrible movie, but it's so horrible that it's like just funny. What do you give on ratings on that? Like, let's say we were to review.
What do you mean horrible? It's like so horrible it's funny.
Well, or horrible it's good, meaning like there's some classics I love, like Axum. Oh my God, it's terrible. It's terrible, but it's so terrible.
Oh yeah, I have that on DVD. I still got to watch it, Joe. Yeah, I'm going to mute my mic for a second because dogs are about to go crazy.
Okay, well,
keep going, Joe.
I will, but no, there's a horrible movie called Axum. It's a horror movie. It's terrible, but it's so terrible. It's like, God, this is just great. It's so bad. But then there's
kind of like a Mr. Science Theater movie, almost like
almost, but even possibly it could be worse. And yes, I remember Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Janish, and I like that. I really did like that movie. But then there's one that is so bad that I was like, Nathan, if we talk about it, we can't. We will not ask you, Tyler, to watch it because it's bad. Thanksgiving.
I've already bowed out of that. That's all you guys. You guys can take that and run off. I'm going to go watch an apple brown for an hour and a half while you guys do this.
And I could see that, but it's
no thanks. No thanks.
So we'll have to do it. I was like, how do we review that? I was like, Nathan, what do we do? It's like, in reality, it's not really a 5-star movie. It's just so fucking terrible. But it's like, it's a guilty pleasure. Now you could say is a guilty pleasure.
It's like watching like Jack Frost or something like that. Just absolute like the Killer Snowman movie. You know,
but even worse. It's a super guilty pleasure. Not many people admit of loving it, but we'll have to do a Thanksgiving possibly for a Thanksgiving special sometime, Nathan. And of course, we got Thanksgiving coming up Thursday. Not saying we do it on that day, but we'll eventually have to throw in a bonus episode of Beyond Retro.
I'm going to try to get this in before the dogs go nuts because Emily's coming home. Maybe we can try to do that this Friday if you were free.
Yeah, maybe? If I'm free Friday, maybe we could try that. It's JSP. Thank you for joining us right at the last second. I've never turned over.
This happens a lot for people to join us at the last minute.
We're just these podcasts. We're going to end it. But JSP mentioned Teenage Cat Girls in Heat. Never heard of that, but of course that piques my interest.
Great porno.
That's something I'd be down to watch. I'm just going to say that now. I'll look that up.
Just on the name alone, as long as it's like a lot of hot 80s or early 90s chicks, I'll watch that.
Oh, shit. All right. So, but definitely. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys see Axum, and then you could see, Thanksgiving. But Axum is just bad. You can look up clips on that on YouTube.
That's okay.
It's so bad. It's terrible, especially when they're all running from the killer, running into the house. And because it's such a low budget, it's like people probably just made it, with just a regular camcorder. You can tell, like, the camera is focused in on the door, and you see everybody running in. And you know how in a movie they run towards the camera, but of course eventually they disappear because you can run past it. They're all running, but there's a wall that must be in back of them to where that camera is, and they run out of room, and they have to start ducking to try to get out of focus. But then one guy just screams in the camera. Oh, it's just so fucking terrible. I love it. Oh God, I'm done. Okay, that's it. I'm finished. So you can go ahead and do your wrap ups, Nathan, and say what you guys.
I'm still waiting on dog craziness. Actually, JSP did say that it's a trauma film, so that'll be good.
Oh, Teenage Cat Girls? Oh, okay. Damn, I didn't know that.
Well, that sounds pretty promising to me.
Yeah, I love trauma films. Those ones, but a lot of those are great.
Well, but they're out there, but they know what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose.
I've never seen a person say they hated The Toxic Avenger. I've never met somebody who's watched it. Yeah, I mean, if you watched it, you loved it. Yeah.
Maybe my dad probably said that.
But thanks for the JSP, because I'll have to look up that movie and see if I could see it. Hopefully it could be a YouTube one. Maybe.
Or maybe we could find it, in someone's yard sale or something like that, Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you a quarter for
it. Right.
There needs to be at some point where we do talk about the Toxic Avenger on the podcast.
Yeah.
We'll do Toxic Avenger.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's do that next week.
Sure.
I'll nail that down now. Unless anyone else has some other ideas after the show, we'll discuss.
I've always at some point it'd be fun to discuss like Pee-wee's Playhouse on the podcast.
I heard that's coming back. Did you guys hear that too?
I heard something like that, but I haven't heard anything else come to fruition about it. Like I did hear that there was talk about it, but
I know they did like a Netflix special sort of thing, like just a one-off.
Pee-wee's Holiday, like they did the movie, which still haven't watched. I remember it was like a Netflix original before I got Netflix, because I got Netflix for Daredevil, but I never did get around to watching it. I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be, because that Pee-wee's Big Adventure is fantastic. Mm-hmm. I just kind of felt like I didn't know if the humor was still going to be there. At least, I mean, it is with Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but I don't know. The trailer wasn't as impressive to me is what I was hoping, because it kind of looks like him on the road, meeting up with a bunch of people, every so often, kind of like Pee-wee's Big Adventure almost. But I'm like,
isn't that something? Because like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, I loved it, and Big Top Pee-wee, I was like, it was okay, but it didn't. I loved that
as a kid, but I probably would not. And that's another film I watched a lot.
And look at that, and that's even years ago, and it just didn't have the same magic as the first.
Yeah, but I don't want to go. I really don't want to go back and revisit Big Top Pee-wee, even though as much as I loved it as a kid.
That's what I mean. It's like one you really don't like, but the first one you just love, so you wonder,
God, it was awesome.
What would a new one be like? If Big Top Pee-wee wasn't that great, what the hell could they do with the new one?
Big Top Pee-wee, it just seems so odd. Like, to have a bad storm, you wake up and then somehow there's a circus sitting in your front yard.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. Just like you. I mean, as a kid, you might have loved it, but now you don't. But even when I was growing up, I was like, I really didn't.
I had such a thing for Gina, too. And knowing that Pee-wee's caught up in this love triangle with Penelope Ann Miller and Gina and the girlfriend from Rain Man. Hot Shots.
Jesus.
I can remember her real name. Boy, she was so hot too. Man, her naturally curly brown hair and this beautiful eye. Oh,
yeah, good gracious,
so hot.
Mm-hmm. I remember when they're playing like you said in Hot Shots or whatever, when putting the what was it, an olive or something in her belly button,
and it plopped, and he's like cooking eggs on her stomach and everything, and
Oh man, yeah, that was damn.
That probably would happen, if you were to bed her. If she's so hot, you probably could cook eggs on her stomach, God, that way, when you're done, you get protein to eat afterwards.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I don't know. I thought she was Italian. I thought
she'd have some protein to eat as well.
Oh, yeah.
Her first name was Valeria, but what her last name was. But I always thought
it was Valerie.
I thought it was like Valeria. I don't know.
I'm not going to, because Joe's going to come back to like, her real name is really Karen Hudson, Tyler. You might want to correct yourself. Like, I ain't doing that.
I was like, I ain't gonna do it. He kept doing it, so I ain't gonna do it. I was like, but it's really this. Fuck Joe. Who cares?
I don't know. She's hot, and that's all we need to know about her. She's a hot Italian girl.
Yeah, but she's Italian. Look it up, Nathan, because now I got to know. I always thought it was Valeria or something, but I couldn't.
Valeria? She's not Conan's girlfriend.
All
right. What specifically do I need to look up?
Just look up Big Top Pee-wee or a Hot Shots. One of those two. Or Rain Man.
Yeah, you can say Hot Shots cast or Big Top Pee-wee cast.
Valeria.
Oh, okay.
Is it really Valeria?
Yeah, Valeria Galino.
Galino, that's it. I knew it was an Italian one. There you go. Okay, good.
Wow. Galino. I stand corrected there, JoJo.
No problem. I just remember, you're right. I had that thing for her about hard dingers. Good God. Smoking. Jesus.
Yeah, like Pee-wee betted her too, man. Like, good grief.
Lucky fucker.
I know.
All right.
And Tom Cruise had her in Rain Man. They're going at it. Dustin Hoffman is like mimicking them going at it. Ray, is that you? Get out of here.
Did you fart, Ray? Did you fucking fart? Yeah. I don't mind it. 2304.
Yeah, 2304.
Time for Wapner. Anyway, thanks to you guys joining us live in the chat. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified when we go live or when new videos are posted. Check out the links below. We have the links for Podbean audio and also on iTunes if you want to download the MP3s. And I want to encourage those guys that join us from those various channels as well to pop over here and give us a subscribe on the YouTube channel. Check out Joe Amato's Customs. Like our Facebook page. Buy some of Joe's t-shirts. Go to beyondretropodcast.com. That will take you to the central hub on Pop Culture Network. They'll have all the episodes listed there and the audio there as well. If you don't want to follow the links here, man. Fans of the Power Podcast. I had to think. The dedicated He-Man and the Master Universe podcast hosted by Joe Amato and Tyler Baker. We should probably throw this out there for these guys that are checking in on this and are going to watch later tonight that Robbie London, unfortunately, had to cancel this week. He's going to reschedule for next week.
Yeah, he is official for next week. He called me personally. Like, I spoke to Robbie on the phone about this. So
yeah. And I was looking through his credentials, and this man has worked on a lot of shit. Like, a lot of shit. I'm looking through, and I was like, wow, how did Tyler nab this guy?
Well, that's all thanks to Danielle, too. Like, if Danielle had not mentioned it, and he contacted me, so he didn't have to do it. But I spoke to him on the phone for a long time on Friday, and that guy is just as humble as you possibly could get. And he seems very excited to talk He-Man, and almost to the point, like, it sounded like, which I know it's going to go well, but I think he would be definitely interested in coming back for, like, to just even talk about Lou Scheimer, like, alone, like, talking about the life of Lou Scheimer, working with him, let alone, like, as I said, just, it's going to be great. It's going to be well worth the wait. And when he called, he was so sincere and apologetic about, and he hated doing it. I said, no, you go take care of that, Robbie. So, he's going to be well worth the wait, people. He will answer fan questions as well. Again, I want to reiterate that. We'll talk to him for about an hour if we can wrap it up in an hour, which that ain't happening. But it's going to be a blast, and it's going to be well worth the wait. So we will have to come up with something new tonight to heading into the Thanksgiving holiday to do with Fans of Power. So we'll come up with something fun for you guys as well.
And Survivor Series tonight. Too bad we're going to think of a great battle. 5 Warriors again and 5.
I know it would be fun because I know we've done like a Survivor Series like discussion before here or so every so often, like on Fans of Power. But maybe we could do like a fun Survivor Series matchup.
How about this? What if we did for one of the parts of the skits for the show tonight? We picked 5 evil warriors, whether it's from Snake Man, the Horde, or just evil warriors in general. 5 heroes could be from.
You know what? Maybe we're gonna do this like or we are each assigned a faction. Like Nathan's given one, you're given one, I'm given one. We don't know who we're gonna pick to represent.
Right, and along with what we think during the battles, like almost like how we involved last week, it'd be cool to see what the chat room says of who they could think would be the winners between each face-off we do for each round. It'd be kind of fun to bring it in the fans too.
And like if we give Nathan like the Horde, Joe's giving the Evil Warriors, I'm giving the Heroic Warriors, and then we throw in my guys in the ring along with Nathan's guy. We have to decide do we decide let the fans decide who wins that in this moment.
That's what I thought. It would be fun. Let them decide who
we'll do that. So, Nathan, we'll give you the Horde because I know you like the Horde. So you got to pick 5 Horde members.
These people are going to get sick of me being on your show so much.
Come on, you just bow out there, you ungrateful bastard.
Yep, you got to do it. I mean, if it's involving Survivor Series and your love of wrestling, you got to be a part of it.
I got to do it. I like how Joe's like, I got to do it. Can we send you something? No.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm bossy, but no, don't do this. That's great. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Joe. Who do you want? Heroic Warriors or Evil Warriors? Or you want Snake Man? Or Nathan, how about this? I didn't pick a faction. What's the easiest for you to?
I'll go with the Evil Warriors, I guess.
Okay, all right. Evil Warriors for him. Joe, who you got?
I used to play with the Snake Man a lot. I really did play with the Snake Man a lot. I might have.
All right. Yeah. If you do pick the Snake Man, I'll pick the Evil Warriors.
So it's all evil. There are no heroes.
All the bad guys in the ring.
That's kind of cool because it was always polarizing. When you'd see something like that as a kid, it was kind of cool. It was almost like that moment in Royal Rumble, the first time when Axe and Smash were numbers 1 and 2 in the Royal Rumble. Like, oh my God, they're gonna fight. So no heroes and no rebels. So there you go.
Yeah, we'll just have all the evil factions represented in this Survivor. Okay. We'll pick. Do we want to include Skeletor, Horde, and King Hiss, or just make it strictly the Warriors?
Hell, I'd say we could pick any of them. I mean, if we're going to pick our 5 that we representing the Evil Warriors, the Horde, or Snake Man.
You can have like King Hiss, Skeleton, Horde come down as like the managers, and you've got like your 5 guys.
No, I'd actually like to have the main leaders be a part of it. I want them to be
they'll be the team captains.
Yeah.
Well, how's this going to work in the terms of if you're doing like Survivor Series style and everything? Is like each thing just a triple threat-esque kind of thing? Like, how's this working?
Well, it's just, one comes in for, you're right. Hey, it can be a triple threat. Let's do it something different. We could have all 3 coming in and see who gets eliminated, who pins who, from which faction, and then who would have to come in place of that. So, if there's an evil warrior and there's a Horde member, and they actually pin Rattler leaves, and then here comes in whoever. We could say Snake.
Yeah, we won't be able to do it like the back and forth, like constant tag. That's
too much. That would be too much.
But what we'll do is like we'll throw in my guy, Nathan's guy, Joe's guy.
I honestly think it should just be you two in a traditional.
No.
Because if you do triple threat, that just makes it like. And now you're just thinking like Vince or something, and just making it like convoluted.
Vince.
Just making it all convoluted. It should be a 5-on-5. Do it that way. It makes more sense. It's not Survivor Series. If you do it any other way.
All right, then we will use your input then. If you're not going to pick a team, we'll do Evil Warriors versus the Horde or Snake Men versus the Evil Warriors.
All right, I'm still going to, I'll keep my Snake Men.
All right, and then Nathan, we'll say it's Rattler taking on Clawful here at the moment. You'll give your thoughts and like, okay, I think Clawful would come out with Rattler. The fans, and then based on the unanimous vote of the fans and Nathan, that guy gets eliminated or
right.
goes
on.
Yeah, that sounds way better.
Okay, that's what
I think that works out way better. Though.
Yeah. So what you could do, Joe, to promote this is you'll have to do like a 1989 or 1990 like Survivor Series like marquee matchup of the Snake Men and the Evil Warriors with their faces in the blocks. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, I remember doing that. I think for the Royal Rumble one time. I think that's what I did.
We did that with the Robot Royal Rumble. Yeah, so you need to do that for Survivor Series.
Yep. So Nathan, you could be the one that when it's time, you could be reading everybody's response, and then just like Tyler said, and I was saying earlier, then that's who would get eliminated, and then we'll see who comes in next, and we'll see who's going to be the
and they won't know who we pick. All they know is obviously Skeletor's going to be in it, and King Hiss, and the 4 other guys. They have no idea who's going to be in this. So and Nathan could do like a color commentary as like Vince McMahon,
so we know part of the show.
Oh damn it!
Yeah, so we know what part of the show will be about tonight. So that's cool. So, well, Nathan, I know I've said this only 30 times, but go ahead and do your.
He's already done.
I've already done it.
Did you? You said ring the bell and Shannon like it.
Yeah, he's already done that, Joe. Where were you?
Man, Joe.
Damn.
He's got the memory of a gnat.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to
Beyond Fans of Power Podcast. We just started right here.
We're talking about Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, but no, I already went through all that. So I'll just say, hopefully we will see you guys on Beyond Retro Podcast sooner and later. Hopefully Joe and I will we'll see you guys on Black Friday for Thanksgiving.
I'm getting too old for this shit. Really, I am. But yeah, see you next time.
All right, see you next time.